welcome back to Glad We Talk podcast. I'm Chanel.
And I'm Tori.
And this is a Love is Blind podcast today.
This is Love is Blind. This is all glad we talked about Love is Blind.
Before we get into that, though, I do want to say I was fully prepared to come on here and be like, guys, we're recording late because of me today. I was late. And then I get on exactly at the time I said I was going to be late. And then Tori takes another 20 minutes.
But I was early. But I was early.
You were early, but then you still were like, oh, I got to get myself together.
I know. I can't.
I was fully ready to come on here and be like, guys, I was the late one today. And then I was like, guess I'm not the late one.
I just ran into some issues. I just
feel technical issues.
Yeah. I wanted to look as good as you. And then you're like, oh, yeah, I have my selfie light up. And I'm like, wait, you know that meme where it's from, I can't remember the movie with Jennifer Aniston. No, it's the one with Jason Sudeikis and they like pretend to be a family. Oh, yeah. Meet the Millers. Or We Are the Millers. I just made that up.
Yeah,
We're the Millers. Yeah, and it's like the guy's like, you guys were getting paid? Like that's how I felt. It's like I was like, wait, you're using a ring light? No wonder I've been looking like crap.
No, I mean, to be fair, today's one of the first days I've used it in a while.
Okay.
But I thought we knew this. You're the expert in lighting and sound. I turn to you for these things.
Chanel, like I am, I can never find my wires for my ring lights and stuff. So I've been going without my ring light.
I was like, use the round one. You're like, I don't know where the wire is.
I don't. I tried plugging it in with like another wire and it just short circuited. So
I'm dying.
Yeah.
It's just funny. Like, just keep it all in one bag.
I do. I do. Sometimes I think I have like amnesia and I just am like moving things around. Maybe I'm sleepwalking. I don't know.
Maybe.
But I swear I keep things together and then I go look for it and
it's like plugged into Mitch's PlayStation.
Oh.
I feel like you've said that before. You're like, I don't know. Somehow Mitch had it in his PlayStation.
That makes sense. That could be. That could be.
Cracks me up.
Ugh.
You keep me young.
I know. What's going on? Do you have any updates, outstanding items? What's happening?
Do we have any outstanding items?
I think we have to touch base with Jenna eventually, but
she did go on the speed dating.
Oh, she did. Did you talk to her?
No.
Oh, okay. Well,
I just on TikTok.
We got to check in with her.
Yeah.
Okay. So then we have that. What's going on with you? I mean, everything is going on with me is Love is Blind, so I know we can just get into it. But I
have been crushing reality TV all weekend. I didn't do anything this weekend but watch TV. So
really?
I'm ready to talk about TV.
I started rewatching Love is Blind with my mom and Maggie.
So you're up to date?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. And Jess was in town, my friend Jess, so like I went to go see her Friday night and we ended up watching some Love is Blind. So
when you said Jess, I thought you meant Jess from Love is Blind.
Oh, yeah. She was
and I was like,
town.
Oh, she was in your town and you saw her?
Yeah, no.
All I think about is Love is Blind.
Casual, yeah. No, my friend. So I've been like catching up with people watching, and I really feel like I'm getting everyone involved this go around.
I love it. It's the season is insane.
I know.
I'm ready to talk about it.
It's a good season. And listen, I watched with my mom, so obviously mom had some thoughts, and I have to agree with her. And I've seen this in social media too, so I can't wait to touch on this point that I want to talk about when we get to everything. But I think people are chatting about it.
People are chatting. People have thoughts.
Yeah. And you watch with Martin, right?
Yes.
Wait, sorry. I just cut you off. Do you have any updates? Because I thought you said you had like a dentist story or something. Or are we just not?
That was from like a month ago.
Oh.
And I never talked about it because I was like, it was funnier in the moment. It's not really funny when I retell it.
Oh, okay. Well, in the show notes, it like showed like it was for this week. Oh, okay. I saw it and I was like, wait, why is she talking about the dentist? Because
I was like, this is so confusing.
Well, I got confused. There we go. I tried to be early. I try to prep, and I'm just not even on script.
That was on me. Wait. Okay. Let's just dive in.
Yeah, but first, you watch with Martin.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, that's nice.
I sense a little...
I have to beg Mitch to watch with me.
He's not into it?
No, literally, I went and froze my ass off at an outdoor hockey game until midnight in order for me to get a day to watch Love is Blind with him.
Oh, so you were like, if I do this, you need to watch 3 hours of Love is Blind for me.
I didn't originally do that, but it definitely was leverage for the next day when I was like, we need to watch Love is Blind because he won't watch it with me. It makes him uncomfortable.
Do what you gotta do. Okay, so once he watched it, was he like into it?
He gets invested.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
That's what you want.
I was listening to another podcast this morning with Bradley Cooper as a guest.
Armchair Expert.
You know I love Armchair Expert. Yeah, yeah. And he was talking about his obsession with Love is Blind too.
I mean, I don't think there's a person on the planet right now like not watching. It's actually insane.
Everyone should watch.
Including Mitch.
Including Mitch. All right, so we're going to go couple by couple?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Should we start right off the back? Coming hot, Chelsea and Jimmy.
Chelsea and Jimmy.
Chelsea
Megan
and
Fox
Jimmy. and MGK.
Christian McCaffrey.
Who the hell is Christian McCaffrey?
He's an NFL player, football player.
I was like, MGK or like Christian. I'm like, who's that? You know, I don't know sports. You can't just drop sports on me out of nowhere.
Well, I was just giving his lookalike.
I was lookalike?
Yeah, apparently. I saw it online today. They were like,
okay.
Yeah, I guess they're trying to level the playing field now where they're like, okay, so homegirl said she looks like Megan Fox. And they're like, but he said he looked like Christian McCaffrey.
Give me your thoughts.
You want me to give you your thoughts?
Yeah, give me your thoughts.
Guys, this might be like a 3-hour episode.
I know. I don't know how long this is going to be. We can't tell you.
So I don't want to give any spoilers. So if you haven't watched that...
No. Spoiler alert, we're going to talk through episode 6.
Right. No.
Or 9.
This is what I was going to say. If you haven't watched, just don't listen to us today. Listen to us after, okay? That we cannot be responsible. This is your warning. We are not responsible for ruining Love is Blind for you if you haven't watched yet.
Yeah, this is your last chance to turn it off.
Netflix gave you the time so the episodes were dropping. You should have put it in your calendar. Prioritize, okay? So it's not on us. If you're not up to date.
Why don't you all spend your weekends watching reality TV like I do?
Yeah, or just like, wake up early. I don't know, fit it into your routine, but it's not on us.
It's on you.
We're just doing what we want to do. Okay, so now that we've gotten that out of the way.
I literally was like, no. You're like, no, I'm agreeing with you.
I am. I want to make sure the friends know.
Yeah.
We're giving them fair warning.
Yes.
Okay. So with that in mind, I really didn't want to like Jimmy.
You're starting to like him?
Well, social media plays a big part in this. I mean, he didn't do a great job leading up, and everything with a grain of salt because it is edited. So we're only getting what the editor's cut is and what they think is great and makes good television. Obviously, at the end of the day, this is television, and they're painting him out to be someone, and they're giving you this like the snippets to think he's someone, and then I'm pleasantly surprised in the episodes when I find out he's not who I thought he was.
Who did you think he was?
I thought he was the guy that heard Megan Fox and was like, oh, and I mean, he was. I
think he is.
He reacted. He was like, oh, Megan Fox. And this is where my mom's thing comes into play. Mm-hmm. She and I both agree that you shouldn't be telling people in the pods what you look like.
No, absolutely not.
It's against the premise. So what the hell is going on with like the people running the show?
Yeah, like they should have put a stop to it.
Yeah, they should have been kicked out. No love for you.
If I am telling someone what I look like, I'm telling them I'm a soft 2. I'm not going in like 10 out of 10.
2?
I'm not like 10 out of 10 like I'm Megan Fox.
Undersell,
undersell,
over-deliver.
and over-deliver. Like don't go in hot. I'm not Beyonce. I'm telling them I'm a 2.
I think she knew what she was doing though. Like,
yeah, but then it was just disappointing. Like, how do you come off Megan Fox?
Well, she brought up the point. They were trying to change conversation, and she like kind of had that lined up. She was like, "So, what celebrity do you think you look like?"
Yeah, she did. She was ready to tell him.
Yeah, and it was like, I would not think of that. Like, if you hadn't heard a good celebrity, you wouldn't have thought of that, and I probably wouldn't have asked. Like, I can't name a celebrity I look like. Can you?
Yeah, but like no one knows them.
Who?
Some girl from All American that my friend thinks I look like.
Oh, we've talked about this on the podcast before.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I think maybe I could be mistaken from SJP if you were like negative. Like, you can't see anything and your glasses are off and my hair's curly.
She's not a sex icon, though. So whatever. If you said you look like SJP, she's like an average looking woman. Megan Fox is
Fair.
a literal sex icon. Like,
Yeah.
people look to her as like one of the hottest girl, like the universally hot celebrity.
She was that. Yeah.
And Chelsea's like, I look like MGK's girlfriend or wife. Who is she? I don't know.
Yeah. She brought it up. Like,
She did. She did
so
it intentionally.
She knew what she was doing. Yeah, she knew what she was doing. She knew she had a good celebrity lined up. She knew that it was hot. It was flattering. Then she went back and said, like, oh, but like other people have said it, not me. It's just because I have dark eyes and big boobs and light eye, like dark hair, light
She's
eyes,
painting
big boobs.
a picture of herself that like I'm hot. Like, oh, I have blue eyes and dark hair and big, like, yeah, she's painting this picture that she's like really hot.
I don't know if I would say really hot, because she did say I kind of look like it's only because I have dark hair, light eyes, big boobs. But the big boobs, I guess, is the hot.
No, if you hear light eyes, dark hair, big boobs, you're like, ooh, sounds hot to me.
I don't know. I could also see Zoe Deschanel, but I wouldn't categorize Zoe Deschanel as hot. I would say she's like beautiful. Like, she's pretty.
I guess.
She's pretty. I would say Zoe Deschanel's pretty, you know?
Yeah.
But when you put Megan Fox next to dark hair, light eyes, big boobs, you have a very specific picture.
Honestly, the best part of that whole thing to come out is the internet. Like, the internet is just, it's like the content coming out of this one
I
line
know.
that she did is just really, it's slivering.
I feel bad for her. I do. Like, on one hand, I feel bad because like, people are coming at her. It's all in the news. Everyone's talking about it. She probably didn't think. She just thought she was going to get a boyfriend, husband, whatever out of this in the end. She was like, oh, yeah, nothing's going to happen. And now we've taken it and we're like running for days like, you do not look like Megan Fox.
Like, no one will let her live it down. She is handling it really well, though. Like, she's
Yeah.
laughing at herself. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know if you've seen her social, but she's been laughing at herself.
I have. She's like, you know, any of those people that said I look like her, that now would be a good time. I'm like, honey,
like
those were
anybody.
people on a flight. They don't remember you. They just said it like in passing. Like, does she?
Well, there's some people online who are like, I see it, and I don't know if they're just trying to rile everybody up, but
Mitch watched that episode with me briefly, and I asked him, so we were sitting on the couch, and I asked him, do you think you can see that she looks like Megan Fox? And he was like, yeah, from that angle. But then, like, the whole rest of the episode, I'm like trying to see what he sees, and I'm like, don't say it. Like, maybe in a glimpse of like she's turning her head really fast. I'm like, oh, you know,
no, I don't. I'm sorry.
I don't know.
It is what it is, though.
Has Megan Fox said anything about this?
Megan Fox has not, the real Megan Fox has not stood up. Silence.
She was defending herself in a picture, I guess, from the Super Bowl parties with MGK and Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce.
She has other things to deal with.
Yeah, she's like defending herself from like being like, no, this is actually what I look like.
She's like, no, like, this is my life.
Yeah.
And then, so they go to Mexico. Mm-hmm. So first of all, I think Jimmy, when they came out, looked a little
reveal.
disappointed. And then it's just silence and just him in the confessional, like, so she lied to me.
Yeah.
It's like, that's what you get for putting all your stakes in her looking like Megan Fox.
I knew, yeah, exactly. You know, in that moment that he was really relying on her looking like Megan Fox.
He was disappointed. But they went to Mexico. And what I want to mention from Mexico is the fight that they had in the hotel room. Because I feel like that is kind of when I started being Team Jimmy a little bit. And not that I'm Team Jimmy by any means. I'm actually Team Jess. But
You're none of them.
I was like really mad at him in the pods. And then I kind of felt for him in Mexico because I do feel like Chelsea is very insecure.
Yes.
And I think she was putting a lot of her insecurities on him in Mexico.
Yeah.
And that fight that they had kind of like wasn't really fair.
No. And the fight at home wasn't fair either.
Oh my God, that was insane. The
Yeah.
fight at home.
I was watching it with my friend Jess, not Jess from Love is Blind. And I just felt like he was doing a good job. Like, I think he was trying to take note of her feelings and really had been handling the situation well, especially like being like not really addressing it head on that she didn't say who she looked like, and just, you know, he's kind of letting her be who she wants to be around him, and that person is very insecure and using other ways to feel secure in the relationship, like, you know, physical relationship and whatever. And so he's just kind of like holding it up, and then I think in that moment he just let it out. You know, he was like, okay, fine, you want to talk about this? Let's talk about it.
Yeah. No, I only think it's crazy because of the one comment he made, because she was like, we had sex earlier. And he's like, yeah, and you initiated it. I was like, I would be deceased. Like, if someone came to me and was like, I didn't even want to have sex with you, like, you basically initiated it and I did it because you wanted it, I would leave and never come back. Like, goodbye me. I don't know. I was like, that is an insane comment.
I didn't think it was insane. I think he had the right to be like, I need some space. Like, I can tell, like, if she's giving so much to him, and like, listen, that's on her. I'm sorry. Like, she's insecure and she's putting so much out there and trying to impress him almost, I think, and being like that.
But you don't think if someone said to you, I didn't even want to have sex with you before, you wouldn't be a little bit like, okay.
I just think that I think I've been in relationships where I've put so much effort and time into making sure someone else was happy, like being around all the time, making sure that like I felt like they knew that I wanted to be with them and whatever, that I've put so much effort into someone else and not given them the space. And I can see, like, if you're doing that, if you're being around someone so much and like he's just trying to work, I think this comes with maturity and security in a relationship too, that you can see like that can be smothering a little bit. So like, I think.
No, I get that part. Like, I get that she was being smothering and like, he's like, I can't like hang out with you all day while I'm working. I just thought it was crazy that like
that one
they
specific
slept
comment.
together and then later he was like, I didn't even want to do that. Like, that's an insane thing to say to your fiance, I think, personally. Like, I understand all of the smothering. I understand all of that. Like, he can't like work and give you like kisses all day. Like, I totally get that.
I just like, they were like debating on the number of kisses. It's like she didn't even count the ones. He's like, I did though, and she's like,
I gave you 2.
Yeah. I'm like, it sounded so juvenile. Like they were counting the kisses and everything. I'm like, I don't know.
No, I do. I am a little bit more on his side with the arguments. I do think that she is very insecure, and I am on his side more. I just think that one comment about sleeping together was crazy.
Yeah.
Like, don't do it then. Why are you doing it if you don't want to do it?
Yeah, but he probably doesn't also want to upset her. Like
you are defending with Jimmy way too much.
I'm not. I just can see from his side. Like I feel like I should be more pro Chelsea. I was able to empathize with him because I think our initial reaction is to always empathize with the woman. I really do.
I'm not empathizing with her. I want that to be clear.
I know, but even in this specific comment, I'm empathizing with him.
Yeah.
I don't think it's that crazy. Like,
wow.
I think the expectation is like, yeah, if a woman's, I guess that is like I think his expectation is a woman's throwing herself at him. He doesn't want to feel bad by rejecting her. So he doesn't, even though he doesn't necessarily want that in that moment. So he's damned if he does, damned if he doesn't.
But then he brings it up later. I don't know. I just think it was weird.
I don't know. I think he just was like, dude, I don't even know what to tell you. I need to change things. This is what's bothering me. Obviously, they don't have a great communication style.
Yeah.
And I don't think the connection, I think he's really trying to make this.
To not get canceled.
Listen.
I think he's trying to be very PC.
Yeah.
I think he's trying not to say anything that's going to get him into trouble. I think he's trying to force it a little bit. I think he really wants it to work, and I think he really liked who she was in the pods, and I think he came out and maybe isn't as attractive physically as he thought he was going to be, but I think he's forcing it a little bit.
Yeah, I know. I agree. I think he's giving it what he has to give and trying it because he's trying to do the experiment and seeing if love is blind.
Is love blind?
But it's hard. Especially when she doesn't have like a full-time job either.
Yeah, what does she do?
She's a flight attendant. Remember?
Right. Yes,
passengers telling her she looks like Megan Fox.
How could I forget?
She also like painted this picture. Sorry to bring it back to the pods. She painted this picture of like travel and like she was selling him on other things rather than her own like being. I feel like she was selling him on like, oh, I'm a flight attendant, so we can travel together. This picture of them. Oh, I kind of look like Megan Fox. Like, I'll be a hot girlfriend. Like, not being like, oh, what Jess is doing. I have a daughter. This is who I am. My parents were drug addicts. I grew up in foster care. Like, really, really hitting the notes on who she is by her experiences of living.
I 1,000% agree. Like, to bring it back to Jess too, like when she brought up obviously her daughter and like all these experiences, Jimmy's like, oh, I love you for sharing that, but I don't actually know if he did. And I feel like he almost like used it against her and like subconsciously. Like I just feel like in the end he was like, well, I have this like fun travel life with Chelsea, and like you said, like she looks like Megan Fox and all this stuff. And like to him, maybe he wasn't ready to settle down and be like a stepdad, which is totally fine.
Right.
But I think you're right. Chelsea painted a picture for him. And like, I don't think she was like fully honest in the pods about like some of her struggles and maybe some of her things that she deals with, because she came out of the pods and immediately I feel like was like not this like fun, chill person anymore. All of a sudden she's like calling him out on everything and like is insecure and like needs to be validated every second. And like, that's not something you talked about in the pods at all.
Right. And I mean, it was going so fast. This whole process is so fast. And I think like, yeah, sure. When you're comparing, like you said, a picture of travel and fun and versus a picture of like, I'm going to be a stepdad to a 10-year-old
in like 2 weeks.
Yeah. And with someone you just met, you're going to like go based off of that information and maybe not think full picture. And also, you're not bringing the outside world in. Like, so, you know, when they really talk, Nick Lachey, I think, enters it. He's like, well, work and race and relationship and family dynamics affect this couple and living together. That's exactly what happened, because like all of a sudden, I think Chelsea's real world of like, I'm actually this insecure person then when you put other people around me and I'm not just the center of your attention, like I think it let her insecurities out, and I can empathize with her insecurities. I get it.
Totally. It's not that she's wrong. It's just that I think she needs therapy like the rest of us.
You know who she reminded me of? I can't remember, and I said it. There was that couple, and they got divorced. They only lasted like a year. It was like 2 seasons ago. It was the one.
Oh, Danielle and Nick.
Yes.
Yeah.
She reminds me of Danielle a lot.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Actually, like had flashbacks of Danielle like crying in the closet when Chelsea was, 100%.
And I think Jimmy has a little bit more of a calmer demeanor to handle it. Like where Nick was like, whoa.
Totally.
You know, I do think Jimmy. Oh, Jeremy's another one.
No, don't get me started.
I do think Jimmy's handling it the best he can.
Yeah.
Or at least trying to.
We're going to agree to disagree on that one comment, but I agree with you on everything else.
Okay. That's fair. That's fair. Are we speaking about Jess, like more specifically?
Jess is hot, and I love Jess, and I know it's not about looks, but she's hot AF, and I thought it was so funny
that she didn't do it. She didn't mention it.
That she didn't mention it. So true. And when Jimmy was like, well, Jeremy came to me and said Jess looks like a Kardashian. I was like, how did Jeremy even get involved in this?
I know. Jeremy's mixing the pot up.
Jeremy's like on the side, like texting Jimmy, like, yo, have you seen Jess? She looks like a Kardashian. I was like, mind your business.
But Jeremy, I can't. Oh my God.
He's such a little pot stirrer.
Her and Laura, they actually make a good couple based on the shit they stir together in this whole freaking thing. But I did think that was funny. And Jimmy's just like, she followed me. I don't know. All the following stuff is interesting.
I know, because then Jess goes to lunch with Laura and she's like, Jimmy followed me, which he did not say to Chelsea.
Right.
He just unfollowed. He just was like, oh, never mind. I retract my friend request.
Right. That's so funny.
A little sketch, but
a little bit.
I cannot wait for him to see her. I know it's not about looks. I know it's not, and I'm being shallow, but she is just like probably one of the prettiest people to be on the show. And it's just like, I know Jimmy's a little shallow, so I just feel like it's going to be good.
All guys are shallow at some point. Like,
yeah,
they do want, you know what I mean? Like maybe, I'm not going to say all, but like.
No, I mean, I think physical attraction is super important, so I don't blame him. That's why I can't wait for him to see Jess.
I know. She's going to choke. Like, she was like, you will choke.
Yeah, it's so funny.
But this also leads up to a good point of physical attraction, which brings us to Clay and AD.
Okay. Tell me your thoughts.
Clay said to AD in the pods, like, he's been on a journey. Like, I think Clay is really developing into a person, and he has a lot to battle.
We're literally watching him grow before our eyes, but also there's something I still don't trust.
Yeah. I mean, and AD knows that. She's like, this is the type I usually go for. Mm-hmm. And, you know, she stood her ground when he was like, I need to be physically attracted to you. Like, this is the type of girl I like. And, like, are you that? She was like, I'm not going to tell you. So, and I think AD's a real one. I love her.
Yeah. That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Chelsea.
And, yeah. I'm like, AD got the memo. She's like, this is not based on looks. I'm not telling you anything. Like, obviously, I think she did ask Matthew. Oh, Matthew. Matthew, how race played a factor into like his family dynamics.
But that's so important.
Yeah. I think
that's such a different conversation than like looks.
Yeah. Do you think if you were in the pods, you would ask that question?
I would. Yeah. Because, I mean, I've briefly touched on how, you know, my life is affected being in an interracial relationship, but like, I just think it plays such a big role in like you said, like family.
Yeah.
If me being the minority in the relationship, like how the other person is able to handle an interracial relationship, because there are some people who've never been in one.
Right.
So I just think it's kind of an important point to bring up to make sure that the person you're going to marry can handle something like that.
Yeah. So you think that's fair? Like,
I think it's fair.
Touching on race. Like, I think she did it in a very democratic way too, where she was like, how does race play a factor? And so she didn't say like, how would me being black play a factor in, or like give any allusion to what race she was.
No. She just mentioned it. Yeah. And I think it was just like a general question, which is also fair. Like, you can bring it up generally. She's not saying she's black. She's just asking him generally, how would that work for him? I think it's an important thing to bring up. Yeah.
No, that's a good point. But I'm curious, what about Clay? Like, you're like, there's something I still don't trust.
I really do like Clay. Agreed with you. Like, he has grown. And like the person who asked AD, like what you look like, to like the person he is now, I feel like is like very different. But it's just some of the comments he's like making while they're like home right now, like about, you know, I mean, it's hard because he's like talking about the role models he's had in his life. And he's like, every role model I've had in my life has cheated on their person, which is hard because he's like, am I going to do that too?
Yeah. And not even like role models, because his father was a womanizer. Yeah. But he also mentions like the picture that society has painted of a black man, even in rap music and just different artists. He's like, it is like a womanizer. It's someone that does have an extra girl on the side, or it's someone that is like seeing what else is around. So I think like he painted a very, if we're still talking about painting pictures, like he's very aware of his own struggles and it's like trying to work through that and recognizes like where he's caught between the two.
Yeah, I completely agree. I guess it's just like he's fully not trusting himself, so it's like, how am I supposed to me as the viewer?
I think in a way I don't think he wants to cheat, but it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. He's like, well, if I do, it's because of all this. Yeah.
It's because of all these external things I told you about.
Yeah. And he's like, I don't want to be that. It's very complicated. They all need therapists. There needs to be like, love is blind. There needs to be like a relationship counseling version of this.
They need to have therapists, relationship counselors, like during the pod parts. Like there needs to be like a day where they just all go to therapy.
Yeah, I think even after, like that's actually great. So they do the pods, right?
Yes.
Their proposal. They go on their honeymoon.
Yes.
And before they get married, they're like, okay, you have to go to a couples counseling.
Therapy. Love it.
It has to be a session.
Love it.
That's like the reality. Like, you know, there's things that I told Mitch, you need to go to therapy before we get engaged. It was working, but there were things that he was bringing to the relationship that were more self-work, and I couldn't fix it for him. So I think Clay right now is putting a lot of things on AD, like, work with me on this, trust me, like, help me. And it's like, okay, you're there to support your partner, but you're not there to fix your partner. And I laughed when AD was like, I'm such a fix-a-hoe, or whatever she said.
I like her. I think she's really cute and funny. But yeah, agreed. And like, even with Chelsea and Jimmy, like if they went to therapy and maybe Chelsea can hear from an outsider's perspective, a professional opinion, like you're being a little bit unreasonable with these demands that you're putting on him. I think it actually would be like a really good episode if they all did like couples therapy.
Like, yeah, I think they should have to go through it because then maybe it strengthens a relationship.
I think couples therapy can be good for healthy relationships or not healthy, or you need to fix something, or one person does. Very beneficial.
Because that lunch or whatever, when AD met Clay's mom, like his mom was kind of playing that counselor role where she was like, listen, I was married for 25 years. Granted, my marriage didn't work out, but this is what you have to do, and you have to listen, da da da.
And she saw both sides.
Yeah.
100%.
So, I mean, great to meet the moms, but also bring in some professionals.
Totally. So, yeah, that's our advice. Netflix.
We're
Take it or leave it.
Yeah.
Okay. Who else is there?
You just said Laura and Jeremy.
Yeah.
Laura
So,
and Jeremy.
I feel like my thoughts on them. What?
I feel like we're leaving the couple that we think we're gonna make it for last.
Yeah, we don't have much to say, but
yeah.
Laura and Jeremy.
Jeremy?
He spells his name with like an extra letter somewhere.
He does?
Yeah.
I think Jeremy's just a funny name to like spell out. It always looks funny. I like that name.
It's a good name. Yeah. So they're just a couple that like bickers a lot. But I do think she is a little bit, I don't want to say like mean, but she's just like, she kind of puts him down a little bit. Like, I don't think she like builds his confidence much. Like, I think ever since they came out of the pods, they have this like fun banter, but sometimes she like takes it a step too far. Like the Hawaiian shirts, she like won't shut up about the shirts. I'm like,
get over
take it or leave it. Like if you love him, then take it or leave it and stop talking about it. Like she even brought it up to her family. I'm like,
I thought
that's
sister,
so unnecessary.
The sister was so good though. She was like, listen, if he likes it, let him like it.
You got to pick your battles, girl.
Yeah. She reminds me of crap. Who was the one last season? The one that was like finances. Like,
wait. Oh, Stacy and Izzy.
Yes, Stacy and Izzy.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I see.
And like Izzy was just, hey, listen, we'll get into Jeremy in a second. We can rip him one.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Izzy was kind of like being the man that he wanted and trying to be who she wanted, and she just was kind of like, you have to fit the mold or you don't, and this is what it is. And I feel like that's the same with Laura. She's kind of like, you have to change for me or it's not going to work. And that's not fair to him. Like, obviously, like, if he can't be who he wants to be. Also, he was like, I have dust bunny, whatever, the duster's running, my house is pristine. And then she's like judging him for it. I'm like, he told you.
She like won't let him just be him. No. And I think she makes these little comments and these little digs, but like, I don't think they're funny. Like, they're just.
Oh my God.
What?
Remember when she was like, my pet peeve is like feeling like I'm going to be embarrassed by my partner?
Oh, she said that?
Yeah, in Mexico. And then she was the one that was like, that this was after. So this was when they had their first fight, when she told to do the scoop and dupe or whatever.
Yeah, the bean dip.
Yeah. And I was kind of like, why would she do that?
And then she tried to put it on him.
Right. And
she's like, why would you say that as a joke? He was like, well, I didn't know it was a secret. Like, I was just saying it as a joke like you did.
Gaslighting. She
gaslit the shit out of him.
And then the next day she was like, yeah, my insecurity or my biggest fear is that like my partner's going to embarrass me. I'm like, you set him up for that.
You embarrassed him.
Yeah. He was like, how do I handle this? And you gaslit him. And he was like, okay, so I guess I embarrassed her based on what she said, but I was kind of trying to like process what she's told me to do.
He's like, I should have never said anything.
And she also was the shit stirrer in the fucking pods. When the girls went back, she went right over to Jess and was like, you need
to leave. I was like, okay, are you going to tell her why? She's like, just trust me, you need to go. And Jess is like, but why? She's like, just go. It's like, who are you? Can you say more?
I don't like, Laura makes me mad.
I know, me too. Me too.
Like,
I've been seeing a lot of love for her online, and I'm gonna say I'm not on the love train. I will say how she handled the situation with Jeremy in the last episode with the Sarah Ann thing, which we can talk about. I do think she handled that well. I thought she would have ripped him a new one. Like, I thought she would have been so mean and so disrespectful, and she actually was like very mature.
Yeah.
But before all of that happened and we knew Jeremy was a piece of crap, I don't think she was like being the nicest version of herself. She wasn't being the best version of herself, and she certainly wasn't bringing out a good version of Jeremy.
So, do you think if Laura had been more of an accepting person, not trying to change Jeremy, like let him have his Hawaiian shirts, wasn't trying to like kind of neg him and bring him down, do you think he would even be enticed by Sarah Ann?
I don't know, because I don't ever want to be like, oh, well, she shouldn't have done that, and then he wouldn't cheat on her, because like there should never be like any, I guess, reasoning for what he did. But I do think he should have had a conversation with her prior, because I think he was kind of feeling a certain way and just like wasn't voicing it.
Yeah.
She was knocking his confidence a lot.
Yeah.
And so Sarah Ann was probably like this hot thing, like, oh my God, you're so hot. You look so good, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, oh, feeling like a big guy.
Yeah. Do you think that he messaged Sarah Ann first?
No, I mean, they showed that she reached out to him first.
Yeah. And he was being transparent. I mean, he was like, hey, but I wouldn't have hearted it either. And they like, but the sister was like, yeah, why'd you heart it? And he was like, I just was acknowledging it.
The people pleaser in me understands that. Like,
you're like, yeah, it's fine. I
get
it.
that.
It's all good.
Like, I see it, but I'm not going to acknowledge it. I was like, yes, makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
So I was listening to this other podcast. I wasn't listening. I saw it on Instagram.
Yeah.
So remember Deep D and Natalie from like 2 seasons ago?
They have a podcast.
They have a podcast about Love is Blind. Mm-hmm. And they were talking about how Jeremy got caught. And it's because he shared his location with Laura and left his phone in the car in the parking lot. And then went to Sarah's, but he had an Apple Watch on. So he had his, like, if you have an Apple Watch, your location updates, but he obviously didn't know that, because he was like, I shared my location, but he left his phone in the car on purpose. They have insider information.
Wait, what?
Yeah. So he left his phone in the parking lot. That's why he kept bringing it up, like trying to sound like he was like being a good guy. And then that's how at the end she caught him and was like, well, I actually know that you were uptown. And he was probably like, how the heck does she know that? Apple Watch.
Well, there you go. If you're going to cheat, don't wear an Apple Watch.
If you're going to cheat, leave the Apple Watch and the phone behind.
Oh my God. Guys are so dumb.
The fact that it didn't even cross his mind. He was just like, this is fine.
I have so much to say. Like, he shouldn't. I think, like, if as soon as you are enticed, you just say that's your turning point, right? He actually talked about having a turning point. He was like, I could have turned around, and I said no. Like, no, that's when you should have turned around. So it was over.
What did he say?
He was like, oh, the point changed a few times. Like, they were going here and then they were going there. And then, like, someone was like, oh, by the way, Sarah Ann's going to be at this place.
Oh.
And then he was like, and I thought, should I not go? And he's like, fuck it. I don't care. I'm not going to let someone else dictate what I do.
He wanted to see her.
Yeah. And then the net of the story is, who knows if we can't even trust him now. He's just a liar.
Yeah, he's a liar.
So it could have just been Sarah Ann that he was meeting. There might not have even been any guys. So
who's to say, really?
And I liked him.
I know. I was definitely like more Team Jeremy than Team Laura, but now I'm like, ugh.
I know.
This is messy, Jeremy.
Ugh, guys are
now
awful.
If Laura's mean to him, now she has a reason to be.
Yeah.
And I don't want to root for that, because I was not on Laura's side before.
I know. Well, I don't know. I don't. Neither of them now. I was hoping. Now I'm just like, whatever. I'm over it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Now, do you think next episode, do you think that it's Chelsea yelling at Jeremy? Or do you think that it's Chelsea yelling at Jimmy that he knows that he hooked up with Jess?
I don't think Jess would do that.
You don't think that Jess would hook up with Jimmy?
No. Do you?
I don't know. I don't know anything anymore. Everyone's just all over the place.
Really? Like, what is what?
Yeah. I like everything I think I know is just wrong.
Yeah, that's fair.
Wrong.
I don't know. I feel like Jess has a lot of respect for herself. And I think, I'm not saying she wouldn't go back to Jimmy. Like, I think that's a possibility. I just don't know if she would do that while he's still dating Chelsea.
Yeah. So you think Chelsea's yelling at Jeremy?
Probably.
But why is Chelsea crying?
I don't know. Unless Chelsea's like insecure and she's just like, I know you did this. And like, he's like, I was literally like home at 10.
That's
like, she's like, I know what you did.
Like, Jeremy was texting me he was going to see Sarah Ann, and I just was home.
He's like, wait, what? I was working.
Yeah. It's like, I told you I had a meeting at 3:30.
Yeah. He's like, not this again.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Maybe Chelsea's just like that type of friend that cries for her friends.
Maybe.
I just didn't know she was close to
Laura. I guess we'll see.
Yeah.
Unless it also like was her yelling and not her voice. Like maybe they put Laura's voice over it, but you think it's Chelsea. I don't know.
These editors, man.
I know. They really get you.
So much. Okay, so then that leaves us with
Brittany and Ken. Two couples.
Brittany and Ken.
I was really sad about that.
I was rooting for them.
I was rooting for them too.
Yeah.
I really liked them.
Yeah. I'm just amazed by the two of them as individuals. Like, they are so young and so well spoken and just aware of their own presence in the world and what piece they want to be a part of it.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
That was really nice. Wow.
I was really impressed by them.
That is so nice. Yeah. And I think like they brought like really good sides out of each other. I think it all turned when they got home. Like Ken was like glued to his phone. That was insane. I don't know if because of that, like she started to feel like maybe they weren't connecting. I don't know what it was.
I think there's probably a few things. So number one is the phone. I do think that played a role into it. And he was very like excited to be back with the school and working.
He has such principal energy. Like,
he does.
Why are you so freaking adorable?
He's so cute.
I know.
I really respect him.
Yeah.
And especially how he handled the breakup with Brittany. I think also the second part of it is that Brittany is waiting until marriage, and I think that intimacy was weird, even like it just like kissing and stuff, because I think, and I don't know like what their relationship
what it's like to wait till marriage.
No, I just don't know what their relationship is.
Yeah.
And I can't speak for Brittany, but I could see where it might be this tension point where you're not sure where to navigate what you're comfortable with, especially going from a situation like the pods where it's like all emotional, and then you're like, I don't know. Like, I'm sure Ken was trying to be respectful of boundaries, and she might depend. I don't know anything about her side of like intimacy, but I think that could have been a factor.
Yeah. And I mean, she did make a good point though. She was like, I want to at least have the desire of like, I can't wait till our wedding day so that I can sleep with you. Like, she was kind of like, I'm not feeling that at all, which is such a good point. Like, just because you're not sleeping together doesn't mean you don't have that like innate drive to like want someone. And I think she like wasn't getting that at all, which was like very insightful for her to see. But you're right. Like, maybe Ken was like very nervous about boundaries. Like, he didn't want to cross the line, and he said that many times. He's like, I'm a respectful man. If you say no, it's no. Like, I'm not gonna. At the end of the day, these people are in love, but they don't know each other.
Right.
Like, they know each other from a wall, but like they don't know each other in and out. So it's like, for him, he's like, I'm not gonna like force myself on you. Like, what, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And they might not be having those deeper conversations anymore, because the pods, you're like, I need to know, and I need to like form this emotional connection, and I really want to get into these deep things. And then you go back into the real world, and it's like, are you still having those deep conversations that you were once like intrigued by and really excited about in this person? Like, you might be saying, what do you want to watch on TV? Or, hey, can you take the dog for a walk? It's not like, what do you think about your love language? And you're not doing that anymore.
First of all, love language, they should talk more about that in the pods, but I think that would like help a lot of couples on the outside. But I do think also the editors are so intentional sometimes with what they show. And like the thing on the boat where they were like sitting in silence, and like she was like trying to start conversation, and it was just like awkward silence. I feel like that was like intentional to kind of show like their chemistry kind of shifted a little bit.
I agree with you, because that was definitely a moment where I was like, what's happening here?
Because we were rooting for them, and then that moment was like kind of like a weird turning point where you started to see a little bit of the cracks.
But you could also sit in silence. Like, maybe it was a completely normal moment.
She looked so uncomfortable though.
Yeah, I know.
She didn't look, it wasn't like a comfortable silent moment.
I think it was like maybe an introvert extrovert case.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
She did seem a little bit more extroverted and like to be like talking, and he was more reserved on his phone, you know?
Yeah. One thing I want to say about that couple is I really appreciated the conversation that AD brought up with Ken on the beach about like the kids thing. I don't know if some people maybe thought she was like overstepping, but I actually kind of appreciated that she brought that to his attention. And I like how Brittany handled it as well. She was like, I just want to make sure she's coming to you from a good place. And not a place of like, she can't handle this, but more of a place of like, I hope you guys got this together, which I thought was just like, everyone just handled it really well.
I thought that was a good moment too.
Yeah, I'm glad they showed that. I liked that conversation.
Me too. And Brittany seemed very confident in supporting a biracial relationship too. So I was happy that they talked about this and gave it the time.
Yeah, the attention it needed. Because,
yeah.
I don't know, I feel like there have been interracial couples in the past, like Lauren and Cameron and like...
Oh, the OGs. I love them. They're
OGs.
so my favorite.
I don't know if that conversation in particular has ever really been brought up. So, I don't know. I kind of am glad that they brought it up because, I mean, it's true. Like, raising black kids in America is not easy. So, I don't know. I just thought it was important. Okay. Are we done with them?
Yeah. I mean, there's not much to say. I wish them both the best.
That's kind of sad.
Yeah.
Gone too soon.
They were.
Okay, last but not least.
Amy and Johnny.
I mean, they're like the cutest couple.
Johnny reminds me of a golden retriever.
Yeah.
And Amy's like the dog from Lady and the Tramp.
Okay, I can't remember.
She's Lady. Like, she's pretty. You know what I mean? She's pretty. Like, I like her. She's... Well, maybe not Lady and the Tramp, but I just see Johnny as a golden retriever, and Amy's just like a really beautiful soul and like happy.
Yeah, I was gonna say like I do love them. I thought in the pods, I don't know if it was editing again, but
we need a you know what we need? We need like we need a behind the scenes like after the season. You know how they have that Love Is Blind reunion? They need like a behind the scenes with the editors.
Yes, like what they edited out. This bothers me. This bothered me on this show, and this bothers me on The Bachelor all the time. And I don't know what it is, but for some reason, I notice when people don't ask questions to the other person. So, like, I just felt like in the pods, Johnny was asking Amy all these questions. She talked about herself so much. And I was like, I don't even feel like I know Johnny because I don't feel like she really asked him that many questions.
Oh, I know everything about Johnny.
What do you know?
Johnny's from New Jersey. Obviously, I was like, oh, you're a Mitch. And and I was like, this makes so much sense. Like, I saw Johnny, I was like, I like Johnny. And then I was like, oh, okay, I see. He grew up in a very big household, apparently, with sisters, right?
Okay,
and
that's all like so...
They shared a bathroom.
That's all like so baseline though to talk about your childhood and where you grew up. I'm saying like deeper questions. Like I feel like Amy really, we got to know a lot of her in the pods.
Her brother, star
like,
brother.
Yeah, like all that stuff. Like we learned so much about her. I just don't know if, and they could have edited it out and maybe his wasn't as interesting as hers. I just felt like I didn't see her asking him as many questions is all.
That's fair.
But as they got out of the pods, I was like, oh no, it seems a little bit more two-sided now. So it could have been editing.
Yeah. Now that you put it that way, I understand. I just really know Johnny's family. And that is from New Jersey.
He's from New Jersey and he has siblings. I'm like, that's so standard.
I think that paints a bit enough of a picture for me. I'm like, I got the type. You know what I mean? I'm like, I got it. Nailed it. Okay. I did like this one scene that they had where Johnny was playing with the chessboard and he was like, Johnny, you're such a smart man. And he was like by himself. I don't know why. I thought it was hilarious.
I missed that.
Oh, it was very brief. But
that's
I loved
funny.
it. I thought
that's
I
cute.
was like, you're funny. I
like moments like that.
Yeah, I think he enjoys. What I think about Johnny is he's a good time. He likes to have a good time.
He's your friend. Like you could see him in your circle of friends.
Like he's Mitch's friend.
For sure, definitely.
Yeah,
They've hung out before.
Yeah.
I actually, Chrissy's cousin is friends with him, and apparently she was like in the finale of the season.
What? You're just telling me this?
Well, I just found out like an hour ago.
Wait, like how close friends?
Like she was at the wedding.
Why wasn't Chrissy telling us this?
I don't know.
Chrissy, I'm calling you out. Chrissy, what the heck? Girl.
We were just talking about it in like our group text, and she was like, "Oh yeah, did I tell you guys that my cousin's friends with him?" I was like, "No."
Yeah, this also feels very Chrissy. Like I could see. You're just like, oh, by the way.
So yeah, and what do you
think she know about... Does she know anything else?
I didn't ask. I don't want spoilers.
Wait, can her friend come on the podcast and be like, "What was the experience like?"
It's her cousin, but
her cousin. Can her cousin come on and be like, "We just want to like"?
She's gonna be like, "It was fine. It was a wedding."
Yeah.
You just want all the inside secrets of Love Is Blind.
I just want to know what it was like. Like what like leading up to it, what they have you do. Like she kind of knows, what happened and what was shown.
What do you think about him thinking all women are on birth control?
That was where I was like, Johnny, you freaking golden retriever, you.
Turn into a little chihuahua.
I don't know what's happening in the state of New Jersey, but their sex education program needs some help. That's all I'm going to say.
That wasn't good.
I think it's a very privileged white male mentality that all women are on birth control, right? That's just what happens if you're a woman. When you get your period, they're like, here, tampon pads, and when you turn 18, here's birth control. Like, that's what it is,
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't know. I think that there might not have been enough education. I can't really speak to his upbringing, but it made me, it's sad that I'm not surprised.
Yeah, it didn't really, when he said it, I wasn't like in that moment, like, I was just like, of course he thinks that. And then I just like brushed it off. I was like, classic, like this is just men. So it wasn't surprising to me until I saw something about it online later that was like bashing him basically about it. And I don't think he deserves to be bashed. But I was like, oh yeah, I guess that is kind of crappy, like for him to think that, especially like with all the, things that women have been saying lately about birth control and their mental health. And like, I don't know, it's like we have so much access and like,
but we have access, and it's like, he's not paying attention to it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we know because we're women, and that's
there's just
the
so
reality.
much information out there now. It just seems crazy to still think that way. I guess
we know because we're women.
Yeah.
Not if it doesn't affect men, sometimes they're not paying attention to it, and I like Johnny. I'm not trying to talk bad or poorly about him, but I think that's a result of our society where it's very male dominated and privileged, where you're giving what your solution is not affecting me. And when she brings up the vasectomy, I was also like, this seems uneducated. Like,
oh my God. I was upset about that too.
Right. So I'm like, you two should be going. You need a sex ed classes. Yeah. I was like, this is not what is happening. One of you's like, just snip it, and the other one's like, keep putting hormones in your body. Like, there are steps.
About that. Wait,
there are steps. There's like other ways. You know what I mean? Like, just maybe you guys should not be having sex, period.
Okay, so couples therapy and sex ed classes. Wait, I totally forgot that she brought that up. And I was kind of like, I remember having a visceral reaction to that because I was like, if they want kids in the future, like, I know it's reversible, but like, you just never know with something
Very
like a procedure.
risky.
It's so risky if you want kids.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. That's kind of wild to just be like, he should get a vasectomy. And she's like, she should be on birth control. I'm like, is this your guys' downfall? Like, what's going on?
I was like, you guys need to read some books.
Yeah.
Go to a doctor. Like, I don't...
Go to a doctor, talk to someone, go on TikTok and type in birth control and vasectomies. Like, I don't even know at this point.
I don't know. I just, like, that whole conversation, I was like, you guys have to go talk to someone.
That was insane.
Yeah. So, I mean, on one hand, I do think he's like thinking, okay, there is a solution. I think her solution's a little bit more drastic. And
no, her solution's wild.
Yeah. I think they just need to talk. Like, I'm sure they figure this out, but yeah.
I kind of want to be like, have you guys considered? There's a temperature thing you guys can do, track your ovulation naturally. I'm going to be like offering up solutions. Like,
Trojan's going to sponsor Love is Blind next year.
Literally. That was crazy.
Speaking of sponsors, wait, do you think they get married?
I do. I mean, after all this, who the hell knows?
Yeah.
But I am more on like I think they say yes.
I also thought it was funny. He was like, I want to save everything.
Oh, he said that?
He was like, I want to save as much as I can so I can retire at 50.
Oh, money. I thought you meant like his body.
Oh.
Like save himself. I was like, he said that? Johnny from New Jersey?
You're like, Johnny from New Jersey? Pretty sure I saw him
for you.
Yeah. Pretty sure I saw him at the club.
Yeah,
No.
I definitely saw him at DJ's once.
Yeah. No, he was saying like he wants to save so much money so he can retire young, which like good for him. But I'm wondering how drastic it is. Like based on his thought that like all women are like born with birth control, I'm wondering like how much he's like, if he's a guy that's like, I'm going to eat peanut butter and jelly for the rest of my life and wear one t-shirt, you know?
Probably. I mean, good for him. I really commend people who can think like that because that's like the opposite of me.
Yeah.
But I thought it was like crazy that they were both ready to buy a house and they're like, let's just combine our income. I'm like, oh, great for you guys. Just freaking ready to buy a house, both of you. Like what, in what world?
They're in Charlotte, North
That's
Carolina. True. Also, when she was like, these are my crystals.
Yeah.
And he was like, she was like, throw the flag. I'm like, Johnny, pretty sure she doesn't know that reference.
Wait, what was the reference?
Like in football, you flow the flag when like the play's done.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know that either.
Yeah. I was like, I kind of thought that. I was like, Chanel doesn't know what's happening.
I was like, cool.
Yeah. You're like, okay,
cool,
throw the flag.
That was funny, Johnny.
Yeah. So we'll see. What couples do you think, okay, do your bets now.
Okay.
Who do you think makes it out married?
Chelsea and Jimmy for sure. No, I'm just kidding.
You think they get married?
No, I'm just kidding. I don't even think they make it to the altar, to be honest.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I think I saw a clip where she was in a dress, but that could be from her trying on things. I don't know.
Oh, true. Mm-hmm. Okay. Couples I think say yes. AD and Clay and Amy and Johnny.
Okay.
What do you think?
I really think it's only Amy and Johnny.
Okay.
Honestly. Fair. Yeah.
Fair. Yeah. AD and Clay is honestly a 50-50 for me. I just want it to be like bold, you know?
I want it to work. I do want it to work for them.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering if AD's going to be like, you know what? You have some things to work through. You need to grow. And like she's grown and I think he needs to grow and I don't know if she wants to sit around for it.
You're right. You're so right.
You know?
I see that.
That's it. So I'm rooting for them, but I don't know.
I'm going to go bold and say they say yes, but I kind of agree with you.
Yeah.
So I feel like they won't, but.
Yeah. Our 2 golden retrievers are going to go have 1 million kids. Johnny's going to be like, so we have like 15 children.
Who's the other one? Who's the other golden retriever?
Amy. I just think they're both golden retrievers at this point. Okay.
Yeah.
You know?
They're cute though. I guess that's all. I guess that's everybody.
Yeah, that's everyone. I did want to say that I saw earlier. Well, actually, there's 2 things that I want to touch on.
Okay.
One is Matthew.
Yeah. Matthew.
What a fucking psycho.
No, honestly, he's a serial killer. Like there's no other solution.
Unless the editors also did this, where they like edited him into this person, but I was like, you are psychotic. You are sociopathic.
When Clay found out AD was talking to him, his reaction was insane.
I love it so much. He was like, Matthew.
He was like, first he was like, who's Matthew?
I know. He was like, I don't even know Matthew. And then he was like, what?
I was like, wait, I do know Matthew, and that is not the Matthew I want to know.
And she was kind of upset with him for getting angry. Maybe he was more angry and the editors took it out, but I was kind of like, no, I would have that response too. Like, are you freaking kidding me, Matthew?
I know. He's like, we're not the same. So if you like him, you don't like me.
He was like, 80, you're going to regret that. I can promise you that. I can like.
That was so insane. I do feel bad. I feel bad for Matthew because yeah, you know, I just feel bad. But
do you?
I do. But he's
what
a serial
were her
killer.
intentions? What did he want? He was trying to get 2 women to leave. What was his intention? Was it to manipulate the situation to get 2 women to leave? Did he not want to? Did he want to end up in a relationship and didn't want to have to propose? So he thought that they can like go leave the show and get engaged or like date instead of getting married. Like what was his end goal? I want to know.
He never
that.
really said his end goal, did he? He kind of got caught and was like, I'm going to go.
Yeah. And I thought it was weird when he was like, America's watching. And it's like, are you doing it for TV, Matthew?
Yeah. He was like acting.
Yeah.
He's like, America's on my side. I was like, sir, I'm in America. I'm not on your side.
Also, I really want Matthew's therapist to step up. Like, I think she deserves like some. I know it's
Does
like.
he have one? I don't know.
Good point.
I don't know.
I mean, it is patient-client confidentiality, but
yeah, he was a weird dude. I feel for him, but he was weird.
Yeah. So that's Matthew.
Is the second one Trevor?
Oh yes, Trevor.
I love Trevor. We didn't touch on him with Chelsea, but I really thought they were like such a better match.
100%. And I think Trevor really saw Chelsea for Chelsea.
Agreed.
You know, he wasn't like, oh, you're a flight attendant, great, we can travel. He wasn't. They were laughing together, and that's more important than what you look like, what you can promise someone. They were just genuinely laughing together. Like, sure, he talked about his mullet, but like, he just was being himself, and I think Chelsea was being herself, and I don't know why.
I didn't think she was going to go for Jimmy. I really didn't. I thought she was going to go for Trevor. I thought they had better chemistry.
Me too.
So much better conversation. Like, I just thought it was really weird that she ended up going with Jimmy. And, like, Trevor was just so sweet. And, like, in the end, you're just, like, rooting for him. I'm just like, Jess and Trevor? Like, I don't know.
The dog thing, though, was a little weird.
Oh, he did a TikTok about it.
Oh, he did? What did he say?
It's actually really sad. I don't know if you're prepared for this.
Oh, no.
So, apparently, you were supposed to bring something from home that meant a lot. Like, they didn't say the backstory of, like, why they brought in the gifts. And the producers told them to bring something from home that meant a lot to you. So he brought that because his dog had cancer at the time of filming. And then by the time he got back home, his dog died.
No.
I know.
Aww.
It's really freaking depressing.
I hope she gave it back.
I hope so, too. But that was the reason why he brought it in, was because the producers told him to bring something from home that meant a lot to him. Which they didn't show. They just showed him giving her a collar with Chelsea.
Producers.
I know.
We need the backstories.
Yeah, he went on TikTok and did like a whole video about it.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Trevor, if you don't end up with Chelsea, but they do see each other.
They do. Trevor, we just want the best for you. Like, you just deserve all the good things.
Trevor, I don't know anyone, but I would set you up with them if I could.
Jess. Not your Jess. Now I'm talking about Love is Blind Jess.
She's married.
Now I'm talking about Love is Blind Jess.
I was so confused. I'm like, she's in London. How's that going to work? She's married in London? Like, that's not her type at all.
You're Jess.
So funny.
Yeah. I just want good things for him.
I know. I want good things for all the contestants, honestly, but...
You're right.
Especially
but mainly
Trevor. Yeah.
Okay, wait. What was your number 2 then, if it wasn't Trevor?
It should have been Trevor.
Should have been number 1.
It should have been number 1. Why did I even put Matthew there? I saw online that now they're selling Love is Blind, Love is Wine by Cupcake.
Oh.
And it's the gold, like, so smart. They're selling like gold wine bottles.
Love that. That's a good gift. Mm-hmm. That's a good gift to give your...
It also makes me want to walk around and feel special, like I'm on a show with like a gold goblet, you know?
You're like, the producers are editing my wine. I gotta walk around with my gold goblet.
Should we do that for the podcast? Should we just drink out of gold goblets? Like maybe rose gold, or I don't know.
Only when we talk about Love is Blind.
Okay, I want a black one.
Of course you do. I want a rose gold one.
I just want to drink out of like a matte black goblet.
That's cute. Mm-hmm. I'm into that.
Glad we talked on it.
This has gone on way too long.
Yeah, I know. It's okay. We had a lot to talk about.
We did. It was a lot of episodes. This season is one of my favorite seasons.
Yeah, I can't wait to binge. By the time the new episodes come out on Wednesday, so that was yesterday.
And it's only 2.
What?
Only 2.
What is Netflix doing?
I don't know. They're trying to kill us.
They're so rude.
Like, read the room. We want all the episodes at once. I want to sit there and watch 12 hours of Love is Blind.
I'm annoyed.
I know. It's 2 and then the finale and then the reunion.
They started this binging game.
And now they're keeping it from us.
You can't keep it up.
Netflix is gatekeeping. Is that the right term of gatekeeping? I'm trying to be like all cool.
Not really.
Okay, yeah, no, I don't think
works.
so. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm annoyed with Netflix now. And it's like you can't... The problem with the show is you can't wait to watch it, so you can't wait to binge it because everyone's talking about it, and then you know it, so you have to watch it in real time. It's
but then you're left wanting more. You can't win.
They do a good job.
So I will be watching.
Yes. I want to watch with you.
But I can't because Martin would kill me, so...
All right. Well,
just make Mitch watch it again. I mean, honestly.
Yeah.
He's missing out on quality TV.
I don't hate it. I like watching by myself, but then I also like enjoying it with someone.
It's really fun to have like the commentary back and forth.
Yes. I don't know if this is like you too, but I also like watching from my place of security in a committed relationship, being like, huh, can you believe these guys?
Like,
you
see how crazy girls are? Do you see how crazy girls are? You literally won a prize. You're welcome.
I'm like, it's so funny. It really is. It's a great show to watch with your partner.
You're welcome for not being crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Love that.
So good. Well, I can't wait until we talk about Love is Blind again. Maybe not a full episode. I don't know.
Yeah, so we'll see if we want to do like maybe after the finale, after the reunion. TBD.
Yeah. I think we'll definitely be talking about it though.
Yeah.
Okay.
To be continued.
Well, if you've made it through this episode, I hope you also are enjoying Love is Blind.
Yeah.
Like us.
Yeah. We have lots of thoughts, clearly.
And if you have thoughts, share them with us.
Let us know.
Just honestly, just DM us your thoughts. Like, we love hearing from you guys. We love engaging with you. We love when you just drop us notes. And you can do that on Instagram at Glad We Talked Podcast. You can also do it on TikTok at Glad We Talked Podcast. You can watch this episode and other episodes on YouTube. So subscribe,
segue.
Follow.
Love a segue. And don't forget to rate and review. 5 stars.
5 Love is Blind cups.
And we'll talk to you next week.
Yeah. Chanel, so glad we talked about Love is Blind.
Glad we talked.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.